Hey guys, before we start, please don't forget to subscribe and leave a comment if you have any feedback. Let's go to the story. Living at home at 23 wasn't exactly my dream, but it worked for the most part. I wasn't freeloading. I paid rent, covered the electricity bill, and even covered my mom's phone plan. It wasn't like I was just lying around eating snacks and playing video games. I had a solid routine. I worked freelance, mostly in content creation. My room? It was my studio. I invested in a professional setup, $3,000 worth of gear. Camera, lighting, microphone, editing station, everything I needed to build a future for myself. And for a while, it worked. Until my mom turned my life upside down. It started when her best friend, Kelly, moved in. Now, I wasn't thrilled about it, but I understood. Kelly was going through a nasty divorce. Her husband, according to my mom, was a complete jerk. She needed a place to stay. And our house? It was the best option. For a few weeks. That's what I was told. I figured, okay, it won't be fun, but I can deal with it. What I didn't expect. For her and her 2 kids to take over my entire life. At first, they stayed in the guest room. It wasn't huge, but it was enough. The kids were loud, sure, but I could tune them out with headphones. It wasn't ideal, but it was temporary. Or so I thought. One afternoon, I came home after running errands. The second I stepped inside, I knew something was wrong. My door was open. I heard laughing kids, shouting, playing. When I stepped inside my room, I froze. My bed was covered in toys. My desk chair was moved. And one of Kelly's kids? He was sitting at my computer. My expensive setup was shoved into the corner like it didn't matter. Cables hanging loose. My microphone was barely hanging on. My equipment, my entire workspace, was trashed. And these kids? Running around like they owned the place. That's when I snapped. What the hell is going on? My voice was louder than I expected. But I didn't care. Because this was my space. My stuff. And they were treating it like a playground. My mom walked in. Did she apologize? No. Did she look concerned? Not even a little. Instead, she scolded me. Calm down. It's not a big deal. Not a big deal? My entire setup was a disaster. I could barely breathe. Then she hit me with, the kids needed more space. Your room is the biggest. It's only fair. Fair. Fair? My room. The one I paid rent for. I felt my pulse pounding in my ears. This wasn't happening. But it was. I want them out of my room. Now. But my mom? She just rolled her eyes. You're being selfish. Selfish? For wanting the room I paid for? For wanting my workspace back? I felt like I was losing my mind. And then Kelly walked in. Oh, come on, she said with a laugh. They're just kids. You can't blame them for being curious. I turned to her, stunned. Curious? They're messing with my expensive setup. If something breaks, I'm screwed. She scoffed. If you weren't so uptight, maybe they'd listen to you. And that's when I knew it. This wasn't temporary. Kelly wasn't planning on leaving. And my mom? She was 100% on her side. That night, I sat in my car. Just breathing. Trying to figure out what the hell just happened. One minute, I had a stable setup. A plan for my future. Now, I didn't even have a room. And the worst part? I knew this was only the beginning. Because if my mom had already sided with Kelly once, she was going to do it again. And next time, it was going to be even worse. That night, I barely slept. I stared at the ceiling, listening to the sounds of my damn room being used as a daycare. Laughter. Screaming. Thuds as the kids jumped on my bed like it was a trampoline. And the worst part? I wasn't even allowed to stop them. The next morning, I confronted my mom. I want my room back. She barely looked up from her coffee. We've already talked about this. No, we hadn't. She talked over me. Dismissed me. Acted like I was a problem instead of her actual son. You have the basement, she added with a shrug. Like that was some kind of solution. The basement. It was unfinished. Concrete floors. Exposed pipes. Cold as hell. There was no insulation. No windows. And my internet? Barely worked down there. And yet, my mother had zero hesitation kicking me down there so her best friend's kids could have my space. This isn't fair, I told her, trying to keep my voice calm. She sighed, setting her coffee down like I was exhausting her. Life isn't fair, sweetie. The kids need space. You're an adult, you'll survive. I clenched my jaw. I pay rent. Her eyes flickered. Because she knew I was right. But instead of backing down, she said the thing that broke me. If you don't like it, Maybe you should move out. I stared at her, shocked. After everything I had done to help with the bills. After all, the times I stepped up when she needed money. Now, because her friend needed space, I was suddenly expendable. And she didn't even care. I didn't respond. I just turned around and walked back to the basement. Sat on the creaky old couch. Tried to process what just happened. I had two options. 1. Stay. Suck it up. Live in the basement like some unwanted guest in my own damn house. Or 2. Leave. Move out. Get my own place. Be free. I knew which option I wanted. But I also knew I wasn't ready. That night, I started looking at apartments. Rent was high. Higher than I expected. But I had enough saved up. And the more I thought about it, the less I cared about the cost. Because staying here? It wasn't an option anymore. And my mother was about to realize just how badly she screwed up. I spent the next few days silently planning my escape. I didn't tell my mom. Didn't tell Kelly. Didn't even let Amy know. Because I knew the second they realized I was serious, they'd try to stop me. Or worse. Guilt tripped me into staying. Finding an apartment was harder than I thought. Every listing was either too expensive or in a terrible location. But I was desperate. And then, one night, I found it. A small but decent one-bedroom on the other side of town. It wasn't fancy. It wasn't even that big. But it was mine. And most importantly, it was available immediately. I called the landlord the next morning. Paid the security deposit on the spot. And just like that, I had a new home. A real home. Not some basement I was shoved into like an afterthought. Not a house where I was treated like a tenant instead of a son. And the best part? I didn't tell my mom until the day I moved out. That morning, I packed everything I owned. Not just clothes. Everything. My furniture. My desk. My entire setup. Every single thing I had bought with my own money. By the time my mother woke up, the house looked half empty. And she freaked out. "What's going on?" she asked, staring at the boxes. I barely looked at her. "I'm moving out." Her face twisted. "What? Why?" Like she had no clue. Like she hadn't been treating me like garbage for weeks. "You told me to," I said simply. She blinked. I didn't mean it. I let out a breathy laugh. "Well, I did." She panicked. She tried everything. Guilt. Anger. Even tears. But I didn't budge. I was done. And when did she finally realize that? She switched to her final card. The most pathetic excuse of all. "But what about the bills?" she asked. Her voice small. Like she finally understood just how much she had screwed up. "How will I afford everything without your help?" And that's when I knew the truth. She didn't care about me. She cared about the money. The bills I paid. The security I provided. And now? She was losing it all. I looked her in the eye. "That's not my problem anymore." Then, I walked out. Walking out of that house felt like lifting 100-pound weight off my shoulders. For the first time in years, I was free. No more bills that weren't mine. No more guilt tripping. No more being treated like an afterthought in my own home. It was over. Or at least, I thought it was. Because of my mom? She wasn't done yet. The calls started that night. At first, I ignored them. But then she started blowing up my phone. Text after text. Voicemail after voicemail. And every single one? Worse than the last. "You're being so selfish. You abandoned your family over something so small. We need you. I hope you're happy because we're struggling now." I rolled my eyes. Struggling? Maybe she should have thought about that before giving my damn room away. Then she changed tactics. Because when guilt didn't work, she tried anger. "Fine. Go be a selfish brat. But don't come crawling back when things go wrong. You'll regret this. You're a terrible son." And that's when I blocked her. Blocked everyone. My mom. Kelly. Even Amy, because I knew she'd try to drag me back into the mess. And for the first time in my life, I had silence. And it felt amazing. A week passed. Then 2. I settled into my new apartment. Decorated. Set up my workspace exactly how I wanted. For the first time, I wasn't walking on eggshells. Didn't have to worry about kids touching my stuff. Didn't have to deal with my mother's constant demands. I had peace. And I wasn't going to let anyone take that away. Then, one day, something weird happened. I got a call from my landlord. "Hey, just a heads up," he said. "Some woman came by looking for you." My stomach dropped. What did she look like? Middle-aged, kinda pushy. Said she was your mother. Of course, she did. I could barely believe it. She showed up at my damn apartment. Like she could just drag me back home. Like she still had control over me. I clenched my jaw. Did she leave a message? My landlord hesitated. She said something about you ruining her life. I let out a sharp laugh. Yeah, that sounded about right. I knew then, this wasn't over. Not yet. Because if my mother was willing to hunt me down, it meant one thing. She was desperate. And that meant she was about to do something even worse. Something I wasn't ready for. I should have known my mom wouldn't give up that easily. Showing up at my apartment? That was just the beginning. Because when she realized I wasn't coming back, she went for the one thing she knew would hurt me most. My credit. It started with a decline transaction. I was at the store, trying to buy groceries, when my card got rejected. I frowned, checking my banking app. My stomach dropped. Because of my account? It was practically empty. Thousands of dollars gone. And I had no idea why. I rushed home, pulled up my statements, and that's when I saw it. The charges. Payments I never made. Utilities. Phone bills. Even a car payment. And the worst part? They were all linked to my mother's house. I froze. Because I suddenly realized. I never took my name off the bills. In my rush to move out, I forgot one crucial step. I had been paying those bills for so long, I never thought to check. And my mother? She must have noticed. Because instead of changing the accounts to her name, she left them on mine, and kept using my money. I felt my hands shake with rage. I thought cutting them off was enough. But I was wrong. Because now, she was stealing from me. And this time, I wasn't just going to block her. I was going to make her pay. The next morning, I called every single company. I had to fight my way through hours of customer service, proving I didn't live there anymore. One by one, I removed myself from everything. The electric bill? Gone. The phone plan? Canceled. The car insurance? Transferred to her name. And then, I froze all my accounts. Because if my mother wanted to play dirty, she was about to realize. She had messed with the wrong person. An hour later, my phone blew up. My mother. I let it ring. Then another call. Then a third. Finally, a text. What the hell did you do? I smirked. Then typed back. I made sure you pay for your damn bills. Her reply came instantly. You can't do this to me. I can't afford this. You're ruining my life. I stared at my phone. The sheer entitlement. After everything, she still thought I owed her. I shook my head. Then, I sent one last text. Not my problem. Enjoy paying your way for once. Blocked. And just like that, she was officially cut off. For good. That night, I slept better than I had in years. Because no matter how hard she tried, no matter what she pulled next, she was out of my life. I thought cutting her off financially would be the final blow. That she'd finally get the message. That she'd realize I wasn't her safety net anymore. But I should have known better. Because when my mom can't control someone, she destroys them instead. It started with the family group chat I had left weeks ago, but apparently my mom was still in there ranting about me. Screenshots started rolling in from cousins, aunts, and even some old family friends. And what did they show? My mother was lying about everything. I don't know what happened to him. Jake changed. He got greedy. He used to be such a good son, but now he's abandoned us. I don't know what I did wrong. I raised him all by myself, and this is how he repays me. The comments beneath it? Exactly what she wanted. Wow, what a horrible son. After everything you did for him? Sounds like someone let money go to his head. If he doesn't want to be part of the family, good riddance. I stared at my phone, shaking my head. She made herself the victim. Painted me as some selfish monster who left her to struggle alone. No mention of how I had paid for everything for years. No mention of how she had stolen from me. Just lies. And the worst part? People believed her. I should have let it go. Should have ignored it. But I was tired. Tired of being the bad guy in her fake little story. So I did the one thing she never expected. I told the truth. I opened Facebook. Clicked Create Post. Then, I started typing. All right, since my mother has decided to make this public, let's clear some things up. For 9 years, I paid the mortgage, utilities, phone bills, and groceries. I also covered vacations, Amy's car, and all the emergencies my mother magically had every month. In return, she gave my room away and told me to live in the basement. When I moved out, she continued using my accounts without my permission, draining my bank account without a second thought. And now? She's lying to all of you, pretending she's the victim. If you believe her, that's your problem. But don't expect me to stick around and play along. I'm done being her ATM. Then, I hit post. And let the chaos begin. Within minutes, the comments flooded in. Wait, is this true? She never mentioned any of this. If she used your money without permission, that's theft. Damn, now her story isn't adding up. I can't believe I donated to her GoFundMe. I want my money back. And then, I got a call from my mother. I didn't answer. I already knew what it would be. Screaming. Threats. More guilt tripping. But it didn't matter anymore. Because now, everyone knew the truth. And for the first time, she was out of lies. After my post went viral in the family chat, my mother completely lost it. She called, texted, left voicemail after voicemail, each one angrier than the last. But I didn't answer. I didn't need to. Because for the first time, I had nothing to say. And she had no way to twist the truth anymore. The next day, I got a text from my aunt. I had no idea what you were going through. If I had known, I never would have believed her. More messages came in after that. Cousins, family friends. Even Amy's ex-boyfriend messaged me, saying, "Dude, I always knew your mom was a leech. But this is next level." Slowly but surely, people started realizing the truth. That I wasn't the selfish, greedy son my mother painted me to be. That I was just done being used. My mother, though, she doubled down. When guilt and anger didn't work, she tried one last trick. The pity card. A new post appeared on her Facebook. "I just want my son back. I don't know where things went wrong. I raised him with love, and now he won't even speak to me. If anyone sees him, please tell him I miss him." It was pathetic. A last-ditch effort to save face. To make herself look like the sad, abandoned mother. Like she hadn't spent years treating me like a walking paycheck. I shook my head, closed the app, and blocked her for good. Because I was never going back. A month passed. Then another. And slowly, my life became my own again. No more middle-of-the-night phone calls. No more emergency money requests. No more walking on eggshells around my own family. Just peace. And it was glorious. One day, I got a letter in the mail. No return address. Just my name, handwritten on the envelope. I debated throwing it away. But curiosity got the best of me. I opened it. It was a short note. From my mother. "I hope you're happy. You ruined this family. But don't worry. We don't need you anymore." I let out a breathy laugh. Even now, even after everything, she still couldn't admit she was wrong. She still saw me as nothing more than a wallet with legs. And that's when I knew it. I had made the right decision. I didn't respond. Didn't keep the letter. Just shredded it and moved on. Because my mother was right about one thing. She didn't need me anymore. And I had never needed her. Not the way she thought. Not the way she wanted. And for the first time in my life, I was finally free. And I never looked back.